Hello everyone. In this module 3 of Principles and Practices for Management, we would be covering environmental analysis and diagnosis, definition, importance, technique, and SWOT analysis. So let's start with what is environmental analysis. Environmental analysis basically describes as a process which examines all the components made, be internal or external, which has influence on the performance of the organization. The internal components indicates the strength and weaknesses of the business entity, whereas the external component represents the opportunities, threats outside the organization. So, environmental analysis is basically the awareness of the organization to the success. What is the need and importance of studying environmental analysis? Basically, it is the identification of strengths, identification of weaknesses, identification of opportunities, identification of the threats available to the organization, and it helps in optimum use of the resources, it helps in survival and growth. It helps to plan long-term business strategies, and also there is an environmental scanning aid which aids in decision making. It helps the managers to achieve the organizational objectives effectively than the other organizations. And the last one is, it is a systematic analysis enable the managers to predict the future and to have enough time for other activities. This minimizes the time pressure of the manager. Let's come to the process of environmental analysis, which says the first one is identifying environmental factors, that is, the factors which influence the business entity are to be identified to improve its position in the market. The identification is performed at various levels, that is the company level, market level, national level, global level. The second one is the scanning and selecting the relevant and the key factors. That is, scanning implies a process of critically examining the factors that highly influence the business, as all the factors identified in the previous steps affect the entity with the same intensity. The third step is defining the variables for analysis. In this step, a careful analysis of all the environmental factors is made to determine their effects on the different business levels and on the business as a whole. So different tools available for the analysis include benchmarking, that is the Delphi technique, or the scenario building is used. The fourth one is using different methods or techniques or tools, that is different methods like scenario building, benchmarking, network methods, and the techniques are the brainstorming technique, survey technique, historical inquiry, and some of the analytical tools are the mean, median, mode, frequency. The fifth step is the forecasting environmental factors, that is, after identification, examination, and analysis, lastly the impact of the variables is to be forecasted. The sixth step is the designing profiles, that is, the internal areas are recorded in strategic advantages profile, that is the SAP, and the external area are recorded in environmental threats and opportunities profile, that is the ETOP. So these two profiles are designed and combined in one. And the seventh one is the strategic position and the reporting writing. That is, after analysis of the business environment, a strategic knows the actual situation and can make some future forecasting based on the environmental analysis. Let's come to the limitations of the environmental analysis. The first one is lack of forewarning of unforeseen events. That is, the environmental analysis does not predict the future. It does not eliminate uncertainties for the organization in the future. And second is the no assurance as to organization's effectiveness. That is, the environmental analysis does not ensure organizational effectiveness. It acts only as an input in strategy development and testing. The third one is not fully reliable. That is, normally people place too much reliance on the information collected through environmental scanning, but in practice it is not so. When there is a overloading of information, one is likely to get confused. And the last limitation is the absence of strategic approach. That is, the success of any organization lies in the adventure and the strategic risk taking. So this analysis should be strategically done. This is the organization environmental analysis levels, that is at the firm level, at the industrial level, and at the macro level. At the firm level, its competency, capabilities, resources, and competitiveness, that is the strength and weakness of the organizations, are studied. Whereas at the industrial level, it is the industry and the competitive conditions and opportunity and threats are studied. That is the internal or the macro. Macro includes the economic, social, political, legal, technological, global, and demographic. Let's come to the levels of the environmental analysis. The first one says the macro or the external environmental analysis. That is, these components offer opportunities and threats for the business, and its components are economical, political, social, legal, natural, technological, and international. Whereas the micro internal environmental analysis or the operating level, it is the factors that includes competition, suppliers, customers, channels, manpower, and there are two levels in this, that is the industrial analysis and the competitive analysis. Then the firm level, that is the internal analysis, is in this level the environment includes the functional management such as the organizational, personnel, marketing, production, finance components are studied. Let's come to the techniques of environmental analysis. The first one is the SWOT analysis, which says the strength, weakness are determined by internal analysis, whereas the opportunity and threats are determined by the external analysis. Strength is the characteristics of a business or project that gives it an advantage over the others, whereas the weaknesses are the characteristics that place the team at a disadvantage relative to the others. Opportunities are events that the project could exploit to its exploit to its advantage. The threats are the elements in the environment that could cause trouble for the business or the project. This is the diagram of the SWOT analysis, where it says there is an internal assessment of the organization and there is an external assessment of the environment. So internal assessment of the organization is the strength and the weakness. The strength could be the manufacturing efficiency or the skilled workforce is there is good market share it has, or there is a strong financing, or the supervisor's reputations is there. The weaknesses could be the outdated facilities are there, inadequate research and development, or obsolete technology, or there is a weak management, or there is a past planning failures are there. Whereas the opportunities and the threats are the analysis of the environment. The opportunities could be the possible new markets, strong economy, weak market rivals, emerging technologies, growth of existing market, etc. Whereas the threats are the new competitors, shortage of resources, changing market tastes are there, new regulations, or substitute products could be available. So this is the diagram of the SWOT analysis which an organization does, whereas the internal is within the organization, external is of the environment. The second technique of the environmental scanning is ETOP, that is, it stands for Environmental Threat and Opportunities Profile, which is important. It is known as ETOP. That is, it provides a picture of the strategics about the sectors and the factors in these sectors which may have favorable impact on the organization. It helps an organization in formulating an appropriate strategies to take advantage of opportunities and threats to the businesses. It helps in spying, that is, it tries to secretly get information about the other organization. It also helps in ratio analysis. It also helps in interpolation or extrapolation, that is, to estimate values of the data or the functions between two known values to make an estimate about something from known facts. The next technique of environmental analysis is the QUEST, that is the quick environmental scanning technique as proposed by B. Nanans, and it is scanning procedure designed to assess the executives and the planners to give changes things that are next to each other in a line. That is a process of QUEST. It includes the preparation, environmental scanning workshop and intermediate analysis and report, and strategic options workshop and follow-up. The fourth technique is the PESTLE, which says PEST stands for the political, economical, social, technological, legal, and environmental, and it describes a framework of macro environmental factors used in the environmental scanning component of the strategic management. Let us describe SWOT analysis a little bit, which says it's a framework. It is very important, useful tool to use in the marketing management and the other business applications. It's the basic tool. Its mastery is a fundamental requirement for the marketers, entrepreneurs, and business. And a clear understanding of SWOT is required for the business majors. And it is basically a scan of the internal and the external environment, and Well, the environmental factors which are internal to the firms usually can be classified into strengths and weaknesses, and those of the external of the firm can be classified as opportunities and threats. And such an analysis of the strategic environment is referred to as SWOT analysis, and it provides information that is helpful in matching the firm's resources and capabilities to the competitive environment in which it operates. So, as such, it is an instrumental in strategic formulation and selection. This is the diagram of the environmental analysis which fits into the environmental scanning. Let's discuss the strength. It says it is the resources and the capabilities that can be used for developing the competitive advantage, like patents, strong brand images, good reputation among customers, cost advantages from proprietors know-how, exclusive access to natural resources, good access to distribution networks, etc. So basically, few questions are there. That is, what can you do to particularly well relative to your rivals? What do analytics consider to be your strengths? What resources do you have, or is your brand or reputation strong? So the weaknesses of a organizations are like lack of patent protection, or weak brand name, or the poor reputation among the customers, high cost structure, or lack of access to the best natural resources, or lack of access to the key distribution channels. It can be like that. So the few questions which has to be answered are: what do rivals do better than you? What do you do poorly? What generates the most customers dissatisfaction and complaints? Or what generates the most employees dissatisfaction and complaints? Or what processes and activities can you improve? The opportunities which are available are there, the external environmental analysis, and they may reveal certain new opportunities for profit and growth. Examples are an unfulfilled customer needs, or arrival of new technology, or loosen of regulations, or removal of international trade barriers, etc. The questions which are asked, which has to be asked or which has to be answered are: where can you apply your strength? How can your customer and their needs changing? How is technology changing your businesses? Are your new markets for your strength? Or are there any new way of producing your product, or are your rivals or customers dissatisfied? The threats which are available are, it says there is a shift in the customer taste away from the firm's product, or there is emergence of the substitute products, or there is new regulation, or there is increased in the trade barriers. The questions are asked is: are customers able to meet their needs with the alternative products, or are customers' need changing away from your products? Or what are your competitors developing? Are your rivals improving their products offering or prices? Or is new technology making your product obsolete? Or is your cash flow and depth position healthy? Or are your employees satisfied? Or is there a high turnover rate? Or is there a competition coming up, new competition coming? Or are your sales growing slowly within the industrial averages? The SWOT, or the TOS matrix, which says, is a firm, it is not necessary to pursue the more lucrative opportunities. Rather, it may have a better chances at developing a competitive advantage by identifying a fit between the firm's strength and upcoming opportunities. So basically, it goes for this. That is, the SWOT matrix can be changed into what is known as the TOS matrix. That is the SO strategy, the WO strategy, the ST strategy, and the WT strategy. This is the SO strategy develops plan that leverages the strength of a company to capitalize on opportunities. A few ideas could be delivery into the new market, improve the quality of the product, or reduce the cost of the top selling product. The weakness opportunity says that after identifying the weaknesses, focus on the way to resolve them in a goal to take advantage of the opportunities. That this might require finding new and the cheaper suppliers, developing more aggressive marketing campaigns, and reviewing the operational processes to reduce the cost, etc. The strength and threat is the use of the company's strength to counter the external threat. That is, if a company has a strong research and development department, for example, start a new product development project to enter the different market. Whereas the weakness and threat finds out the minimum weaknesses and counter threats. This could involve closing out the poor selling products, terminating the underperforming employees, and developing more aggressive and selling techniques. So basically, SWOT and TOS methods are a simple, organized way for small businesses owners to develop a plan for the future, so that the business can survive in the long run. So that is all in this video. Thank you so much.